It's Monday. It's another Monday. Hello, everyone. I hope you had a good weekend. It was relatively calm here, uh, in contrast to the troubles in the rest of the world. I hope you're all um, staying safe. Anyway, today I'd like to talk about something that may seem completely crazy and irrelevant to many, if not most of us. But it is rather important, and I've talked about it. It's very important to those of us who have or operating from the level of consciousness that's associated uh, with the sixth sephira on the tree of life. Uh, See, already I've lost a bunch of you. I'm sorry. There's two great goals or plateaus of consciousness that the magician or the mystic uh, must achieve. And achieve is such a bad word, but uh, must operate from that level of consciousness. But let's call them the two initiatory crises. And one is the blending, the marriage of I guess, our everyday microcosmic space-time consciousness, raising that consciousness to the level associated with the macrocosm or the bigger world. And it's not something, it's something you literally marry into. And on the tree of life, if we want to use that as a roadmap, our normal everyday consciousness, the microcosmic consciousness, is associated with the 10th or the lowest sephira on the tree of life. But if that consciousness could be expanded to center itself and surround itself with the next level of Sephiroth on the tree of life, which would be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, but headquartered in number 6. That would be the blending of the microcosmic world with the macrocosmic world. And on the physical plane, it would be like raising the consciousness of that we had, thinking that we're walking around on a flat Earth with the sun going up and down, and we're just on a flat Earth. That's the microcosmic consciousness. To the idea that, oh, we understand that we're like the sun, surrounded by this three-dimensional belt of the zodiac. Okay, on the physical plane, on the astronomical plane, that would be what would be comparable to this expansion of consciousness. You move from earthly consciousness to solar consciousness. In chakra terms, it would be like raising the consciousness from the level of the Muladhara chakra to the Anahat chakra. And it's just not opening it up like you would open up a boil. It literally activates. That's where you are operating from. That's who you are. So the proper and balanced marriage of your microcosm with your macrocosmic consciousness is, in more or less modern magical terms, called the knowledge and conversation of the Holy Guardian Angel. It's an experience of consciousness. It's an expansion of consciousness. But in order for us to kind of wrap our meat brains around it, it poetically and quite accurately takes on the allegory of a mystic marriage. Of course, it's a mystic marriage with yourself, but we really don't know how big our self is until much, much later. Be that as it may, it is the first plateau of consciousness that a magician strives for and must achieve. As a matter of fact, the magician isn't really a full spiritual being until this marriage is accomplished. You're not who you are. You're not even beginning to be who you are until knowledge and conversation of the Holy Guardian Angel. And it was that term first originated in a book called the Book of Abramelin, or The Sacred Magic of Abramelin the Mage was the first early sort of fragmented translation. And truly it was a landmark publication in 1888. And MacGregor Mathers of the Golden Dawn was instrumental in getting it translated. And the concept was almost immediately incorporated into the structured degree setup of the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn. The idea of the Holy Guardian Angel, it's most people who are operating at that level of consciousness, most mystics who have achieved that level of consciousness, don't even know that there's a name for it. Okay, you don't have to join a club or anything else, or have a crystallized name for this. Most knowledge and conversation of the Holy Guardian Angel individuals never heard of this stuff. Many of them never heard of magic. They don't have to. Okay, this is a plateau that everyone who is awakening achieves, no matter what the you call it. The Holy Guardian Angel is more than a projected image of our perfected self, or the voice of our conscience. It is more than the innocent, inherent knowledge between right and wrong. It is more than the divine ear that hears us when we look to heaven and pray, "Oh God, if you just get me out of this, I'll never do anything this stupid again." But what that more than is difficult to discuss, because we're discussing it in a language and a dimension that doesn't belong to the reality of that level of consciousness. But we try. The best we can do is allegorical things like this concept of the mystic marriage of the Holy Guardian Angel. Abramelin doesn't even spend much time trying. He just more or less says, "Get your angel and have him explain." That seems to be the thrust of his advice. And in the final analysis, it's probably the wisest counsel. Nevertheless, since knowledge and conversation of the holy guardian angel is of such supreme importance to the spiritual career, it might be helpful to see how the concept might be more clearly illustrated. And to do this in this essay, this chapter of Angels, Demons, and Gods, the New Millennium, I have done. And believe me, I'm not going to read this whole chapter or even this whole section. But I want to point out something, because a very important question has been posed to me. It's a question that I've had to face and deal with, and that is, okay, I know I've got the experience. It's happened. Yes, it's exactly as advertised, but nothing like I thought it was going to be, and it's glorious. It's wonderful. It truly is everything that's advertised. But the question has been posed to me, and like I say, I had to ask myself, what do I do now? I'm all dressed up now. Where do I go? Where does the new HGA-ized me, what's the first thing that I should be doing with this new awaker person? And so I use the Emerald Tablet of Hermes as the springboard to exegesis here. And I'm only going to quickly just read, there's only 12 little lines in the Emerald Tablet of Hermes. It is true and no lie, certain to be depended upon, that the superior agrees with the inferior and the inferior with the superior to effect that one truly wonderful work. As all things owe their existence to the will of the only one, so all things owe their origins to the only one thing, the most hidden by the arrangement of only God. We could pick that one apart, but let me move on. The father of that one only thing is the sun. Its mother is the moon. The wind carries it in its wings, but its nurse is a spiritus earth. Now, I'm always talking about how the princess and the ace in the tarot, the princess is the earth element, the earth court card of each suit, is the throne of the ace. Okay, she doesn't have the same zodiacal attributes of 20 degrees of one sign to 20 degrees of another in the same way as the king, queen, and prince do. She's special. She's the lowest of the low. Earth. Earth is seemingly a stepchild element, but it isn't. It is the spiritus earth. It is the ace. It is spirit itself made visible. And it's holy, and it's sacred, and it's absolutely necessary for the existence, for the existence of existence. The father of that one only thing is the sun, its mother is the moon, the wind carries it in its wings, but its nurse is the spiritus earth. One problem with the earth, it's got amnesia. That one only thing after God is the father of all things in the universe. Next line. Its power is perfect after it has been united with spiritus earth. Should we say married to spiritus earth? We're the spiritus earth. Is the spiritus earth. separate that spiritus earth from the dense or crude earth by means of a gentle heat with much attention. That's our ardor toward the holy guardian angel until we get the marriage. And here's the one we're going to discuss. In great measure, it ascends from the earth up to heaven and then descends again newborn on the earth. And the superior and the inferior are increased in power. So you got the holy guardian angel, and your earthly vessel most of the time survives the event, and it descends again, newborn, on the earth. And the superior and the inferior are both increased in power. In other words, your angel needed your spiritual earth much more than you needed the angel. The angel has been youized as much as you have been HGAized. The seventh verse describes the process we've just discussed. The subtle fire of the spiritus earth is released by the aspirant's fervor. It ascends from the microcosmic plane of Malkuth and vivifies the holy guardian angel in Tifereth, who then descends to unite with and transform the magician. Magician and angel are each metamorphosized. In actuality, they become a single new entity. Abramelin instructs the new HGAized magician to intimately commune with the angel for a period of 3 days, under which the angel's guidance, after which the angel's guidance tells the magician to do something. Now, when you read the book of Abramelin, it says, you bathe in the afterglow of the angel here for 3 days. Everything in the book of Abramelin or anything in anybody else's magical book is just suggestive of the formula. It's obvious. It's totally obvious to yourself. And if you can open your mouth with any degree of eloquence, it's obvious to everyone else. Something wonderful has happened to you. That you're talking differently. There's no doubt what has just happened. And it's blissful. It's ecstatic. It is like the gaga-ness of adolescent love fulfilled, but on steroids. And you literally feel like you glow, like every pore of your skin is radiating. You think you're going to set fire to people if you touch them. And Abramelin says, enjoy that. Bathe in it. Wallow in it for a period of time. But before that naturally subsides and you have to deal with your new HGA-izeness in a world of non-HGA-ized idiots, you've got to do something. And I've finally come to the point of, got your HGA, what do you do next? Abramelin instructs the new HGAized magician to intimately commune with the angel for a period of 3 days under the angel's guidance. After which, under the angel's guidance, the 4 great princes of evil, Lucifer, Leviathan, Satan, and Belial, are to be summoned, and an oath of unquestioning obedience is demanded of them. Now, this isn't just for the purpose of having the power to be a Goetic magician. No, this is important to your soul, to your awakening, your continued progress. It's not just so you can whip up a demon and have him make Tina next door fall in love with you. The first thing you do is whip up the 4 great princes of hell. On the following day, the magician is to summon the 8 sub-princes, Ashtaroth, Maggot, Asmodee, Beelzebub, Oriens, Paeman, Araton, and Amaeman, and to extract from them the same pledges of service. In other words, you get the 4 big guys on the first day, and you make them bend their knee to you and say, I'm working for you now. I notice that you've got your angel, and you and the angel are one. Okay, I give up all my crazy ass power that usually manifests as evil to everybody else. Now I'm on board with you. I'm working for you now. Okay, I promise. And you literally have them reach and touch your wand or your rod and swear eternal obedience to you. Okay, and the next day you do it to the 8 guys that work for them, and the next day you whip up. And of course, Abramelin, or Abraham the Jew, has a whole catalog of these guys. Okay, if you don't have a catalog of these guys, you do something comparable to that with your personal menagerie of demons that have bugged the shit out of you your entire life. They must surrender to you any inclination of sovereignty they may have imagined they have held over you. Isn't it curious that after 6 months of rigorous labor to make oneself holy enough to spiritually unite with the holy guardian angel, the first thing your celestial mentor requires you to do is to deal with the denizens of the infernal regions? Why is the very first act, after successfully taking the first major step toward godhood, the conjuration of evil spirits? The clue may be found in the second half of the verse of verse 7 of the Emerald Tablet, and that is, and the superior and the inferior are increased in power. The magician does not operate in a vacuum. Knowledge and conversation of the holy guardian angel is literally an event of cosmic proportions. All levels of consciousness and existence are enriched by the balance the magician has reestablished in his or her quadrant of the universe. in every digression, when I talk about this, I got to your consciousness is directly, intimately enmeshed with the cosmos, the consciousness of the entire cosmos. When you get the knowledge and conversation of the holy guardian angel, you ring a bell, and that bell is heard on every level of consciousness in the entire cosmos. The next thing, when you reach Master of the Temple, you reach a bell. When you hit the degree of Magus, you ring a bell. That's why Maguses have changed the entire consciousness of not only the earth and us groveling mammals, but the entire cosmos is changed by your awakenings. All levels of consciousness and existence are enriched by the balance the magician has reestablished in his or her quadrant of the universe. However, it's not only the heavenly angels who rejoice at the return of the prodigal child. The superior and the inferior are increased in power. The spirits of the infernal abodes also feel an injection of power on this hallowed occasion. And if the magician doesn't act fast to harness this new energy, it will overtake and destroy him or her the instant the afterglow of the angel's presence begins to wane. It's not my intention in this place to embark upon a lengthy oration upon the character or even the relative existence of infernal spirits. Let us simply advance what momentum remains in this little essay and view them as inhabitants of the lowest sublevels of the microcosm. Disorganized and fragmented pieces of energy, which, when properly directed, are responsible for doing all the heavy lifting and work in the universe. However, like circus tigers, they have the nasty habit of tearing apart and eating anyone whose skill, courage, and concentration is not up to the task of caring for them properly. Let's look at this aspect of the Abramelin operation in corporate terms. You're a talented shop foreman, the magician, who has succeeded in recruiting and training a band of wild and undisciplined workers from the worst part of town, infernal spirits. Under your strict guidance, this roughneck crew succeeds in boosting the factory's production to such high levels that your good work is brought to the attention of the company president, God, who introduces you to his beautiful daughter, the holy guardian angel, with whom you fall head over heels in love. Your tenacity, charm, and the unique ability to lick your own eyebrows wins the heart of the boss's daughter. She marries you and has you promoted to upper middle management. Meanwhile, back at the shop, your old crew of workers are leaderless and restless. The lunch truck has stopped coming by, and they just sit around all day and night with nothing to do but abuse the heavy machinery and think about how you let them down. Abramelin in his wisdom saw this scenario coming. His instructions are explicit. Instead of ignoring the infernal spirits, your new bride and you go back to the shop the minute the honeymoon is over. You introduce her and explain she's the boss's daughter and that they are now working directly for both of you in a new and more responsible capacity. Adding that if they remain loyal, you'll continue to promote them even as you are promoted. Admittedly, the analogy is a silly one, but I think you get the idea. So, what do you do after the HGA? Enjoy for a while, but then find out who your infernal spirits are. Start with the biggest ones. And consciously set to work. Bring them in front of you, one by one. And make them pledge in so much as half the time or more than half the time they've been working against you your whole life. Say, no half time anymore. The heavy lifting you do for me, it's going to be for my benefit and your benefit too. And you must promise to do that, or I'm dropping you completely out of existence. They'll do it because it's a good job. And good jobs are hard to find. Until tomorrow, continue to be good to yourself and be good to each other. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love's the law, love under will.